everybody, welcome back to another video. I recently got sick, so my voice is going to sound different again. This sickness isn't going to stop me from making videos and getting the bag though. I'm dropping another story video on y'all. It's about everything in a day that led me essentially almost getting caught up with the cops again at a party I went to one night while I was on probation. My luck has been pretty good with cops for quite some time now, despite the fact that I have a warrant, and I used to be running into cops like every month or so. It was also like a year and a half since I went to a party since. I'm not gonna lie, that might be just the last house party I'll be going to for a while again, knowing my situation and how motherfuckers be wilding out. I'm better off keeping my job and making YouTube videos at home. Before we get into this video, please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you're new to my content, and don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. Share this video to anyone that's ever been at a party gone wrong, and let's play House Party Busted by Cops. Once upon a time, I was getting ready for another work day at this demolition company job. A buddy of mine had given a reference to in an attempt to get me working with him, and surely enough, it worked out. The work day was a Friday, and it was April Fool's Day at all days. After I got ready for the day, I called my roommate to see about taking his car to work today to save me gas, since all of our job sites are at least 20 minutes away, but he didn't answer any of my calls. I ended up taking my car to work that day. I called him somewhat throughout the day too, but he never got back to me. Something must have happened to him. I was at a house with a couple of other people. The homeowner wasn't even there, so the job was pretty laid back. All we had to do was remove and dispose of all the wallpaper upstairs. It seemed like the perfect job for a demolition crew, and on April Fool's Day, right? I got home a few hours early from work since the job was fairly small anyways. Nobody was too worried about one missing person at a job site. Bro didn't even get in any trouble for it either. I was staying with my stepmom and my dad at the time. I asked if I could go to this party since they were strict on curfew. It was kind of pathetic, but maybe that mindset is the reason I don't stay with them or even have good terms with them anymore. Anyway, I sat on my phone for a few hours in my room. One of my friends ended up calling me to ask about going to another person's crib to hang out. I asked him for $5 since at the time gas prices were over $4 a gallon. I also had an SUV from my stepmom too, and it was almost like it was pissing out gas. Putting in $130 a premium for a little over 300 miles was just a bit painful for my pockets. After I picked up one of my homies to go to said friend's house, we pretty much started another smoke section while we were trying to figure out what to do for the night. The guy whose crib we went to actually had plans for a birthday party that same night, but he wasn't sure if I could come with. To be honest, I was the one person who didn't know who the birthday girl was, and everyone else I was with had already been invited. The party didn't start until 9 o'clock, so the smoke session did last for a while. Once the time came, it was just me and the person whose crib I initially went to in the car with me, and everyone else riding in a different car. So, we all arrived to a party, right? There's a bunch of people there already by the time I got there. I think it was safe to say that the party consisted mostly of high schoolers, so nothing compared to something crazy like Project X. It was me and the buddy who was initially invited in my car, and the rest who were with us in another car. I was already pretty high when we showed up to the house, but once we got a couple hours in, I was baked. Like, there was dabs and backwoods going around like hot potatoes. Of course, there were other people that were off some other drugs, but I'm smart enough to not get peer pressure into any of that stuff. I think it's corny at this point now that I'm grown. But yeah, I was high as fuck. Music was bumping good, and nobody was really acting out of line until this one motherfucker that just so happened to be off Percocets started acting all hostile with one of the homies I showed up with to the party. So eventually, the guy I mentioned that said was off perks or whatever, he made his way in the same area as one of the guys I came with. He was complaining about some bullshit that was going on in his life. I didn't care to remember what he was talking about to share it to y'all in this video, but my homie made a joke relating to this situation that was supposed to be funny, right? Well, dude ended up taking it the wrong way, and dude, it might as well have been a spit in his cereal, because I'll tell you what, this motherfucker threw a fit. He got up in my friend's face and instantly started threatening him. Whole time everybody was trying to tell him that it wasn't even that serious, but not only was that really not doing much to de-escalate the situation, his drunk girlfriend just had to encourage him to keep up with the belligerent behavior and a fight that would take place just a couple of minutes after my homie got a little too pissed off about the situation. You can't really blame him for it though. He was being pressed for nothing the whole time. Eventually, this guy and his girlfriend then started telling my homie and his friends to leave, including me. I told them I had nothing to do with them getting into it with each other, and one of the guys I had to bring home literally wasn't present at the time I was getting shoved out en masse, which is exactly how the fight started. The fight did break out just outside the front door. It was almost 10:30 at night. There's almost 10 people yelling and screaming, along with an additional 15 people recording with their phones to impress whoever on social media. I already knew the police were going to get called. I was still pretty high from all the smoking. I had 5 grams of weed on me, and there was way more contraband and drugs in the house. I mean, dude was off perks. At one point of the fight, the aggressor and his girlfriend were able to run back in the house and slam the door shut to lock it. I was outside when this happened, and the dude who I was supposed to bring home was still inside, but by then he and a bunch of other people were already trying to calm down the aggressor. I ran back to the car to give my guy a call, and his shit went to voicemail. I did think about ditching him to go back home to avoid police interaction, but before I even had the chance to start the car, I saw a cop make a left turn into the cul-de-sac we were all at for the house party with his headlights off. I instantly stashed my weed in the glove compartment in the car, got back out of the car and into the crowd. I figured I'd be least likely to be questioned a lot. Another cop car then pulled up behind the first one, but sure enough, they came out saying they had a call about a fight that broke out in front of the house. They asked the group of people I was with if we were okay and if we needed any of our belongings back from the house. We were already out on the cul-de-sac talking to the officers. Everybody else was still in the house. Surprisingly, the parents were home the entire time, and they were cool with everything that was going on at the party. That is, of course, until the police officers showed up. They ended up getting into the house to crash the party for good after verifying with us. I'm pretty glad I was able to get the fuck out of there with no trouble. I mean, it was an underage girl's birthday party with drugs involved, and half of the contraband that was in there are felonies. I don't need to be around that shit when police show up. Eventually, I dropped off the one buddy that came with me to the party. He felt pretty bad about the whole situation though, considering that one of the guys we came with and got into it with that perk guy wasn't even invited to the party at all. He actually got picked up in the midst of going there. To be honest, I never heard from that girl again either, so for all I know, she could have been in deep shit. After I dropped bro off, I went to the gas station and ended up running into the other driver that was with us for the party. He had already dropped everyone off too, so he just so happened to be at the same gas station at the same time. It's a small world we live here in Minnesota. All he really told me though was that we were all straight and that we was trying to leave as soon as the fight broke outside, but couldn't because not only a couple of our homies were in the fight, but there were still people inside the house completely oblivious as to what was going on until the cops showed up. In conclusion, everyone was pretty much okayed from that party as far as the fight. Nobody got arrested or extremely injured, but I'm sure the parents weren't too happy about how the end of the night turned out. I'm willing to bet that their neighbors are going to be on watch after that bullshit too. We both put gas in our cars and grabbed some food for us to head out. As drivers, I make it home safe and leave the stash in the car without getting pulled over. Oh yeah, and my coworker locked his phone and keys in his car and wasn't able to retrieve them the next day, causing him to be absent for work and pretty much not existent in the story. The end. The morals to this story is don't skip work, especially if they don't tolerate it. You know, you can only do the possible. So my coworker's situation is dumb, but justified. Don't fight people at parties. If it was a one-on-one deal, they should have handled it at a different time and place. But again, this guy was off drugs and was the aggressor in the situation. There's not much you can do when it comes to that. If a fight breaks out on some reckless shit, you should probably help out and not record on your phone for social media. Like I said, it would be different one-on-one. Make sure to keep your head up during the struggle. Don't do bad drugs for the first time, stay at work or in school, get a bag or some good grades, and keep watching my YouTube videos. That sounds less vague and hypocritical than the end of my memorials for the last few years. That should top off everything for this video. Thanks for watching this. I appreciate your time here. Once again, if you like this video, please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you're new to my content, and don't forget to click on the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. Follow me on all of my social media accounts. Links will be in the description below. Share this video to anybody that's been at a party gone wrong, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace out. Sauce.